Warning, you are about to enter the BGP suite. No thongs, no boy shorts, no thigh highs, no commandos are permissible. BGP, big girl panties only. So pull up to woman up. And no, please don't leave with your panties in a bunch.
Welcome to BGP. Today we will be discussing if you pay 50-50 in a relationship, is he really your man or is he your roommate? Just curious. So before I go, let me just say the definition of a roommate is a person occupying the same room as one another, a person occupying the same apartment or house as one another. Just thought I'd throw that out there. I'll start with you, Adrianne.
Well, I think 50-50 is better than 70-30. So I think if he's able to, he's still my man, and maybe he's just not at that level where he can pay more. I know a lot of guys I've experienced or somebody has shared with me that, if that's your if you're my woman, I'm taking care of everything, but they're far and few between. You don't come across them very often. So if you can get 50-50, I think you're doing pretty darn good.
Okay, Mona.
50-50. He's my man.
Yeah.
And so you read the definition, and one of the definitions said they occupied the same space, right? Mm-hmm. Or then they would occupy separately, correct? Mm-hmm. So which one are we speaking of? Are we speaking of the one where we occupy the same space, that would be the bedroom, or we have two different bedrooms?
You share the same bedroom.
Okay. Because if we see, for me, a roommate for me would not be my man. Right. So a roommate for me, we would have two separate rooms. So is that what we're saying? Because he pays 50-50, that he's going to be in one room, I'm going to be in another room, and we come together, sometimes in between. If he's just a roommate, are we saying that we sleep with our roommates now?
That's what some people say. Some people say if you have to pay 50-50 on the bills, on everything, you might as well just say you have a roommate.
Wow.
So, for me, I don't have a problem with 50-50 because we live in a very inflated society right now.
Absolutely.
Everything is expensive. So to expect him to not only take care of his stuff, but jump in and take care of my stuff is kind of, it's a little bold to me. But, some women get lucky. Some women have, my opinion, have the ability to get men to do that, right? For those that can't, I don't knock them. And I don't say that, now you're in the roommate zone, as we like to call it. I think, 50-50 is better than 0-0.
Exactly.
At least the bill's going to get paid. At least you still have a roof over your head. So for me, no, he's not a roommate. He's just doing his part as I will be doing mine. But have you heard that? Have you heard women say, he need to be paying my bills in addition to his?
I have. And I do know that those men that do, I should say some because I don't want to group them all together, but some men feel like if they're taking care of everything, they get to call some shots more so than if you're going halves. Right. Even if it's your man, you know what I mean? They feel like they got a big say in a whole lot of stuff. So you have to weigh that whole thing out. Is it worth it? Wait a minute. Are you now? Do you call the shots? I'm cool with them allowing him to lead. But just because he's paying everything does not necessarily make him a good leader, but I don't know. I think, like you said, we're in an inflated society. Things are really expensive. I think if we're a couple and he's my man, we have already sat down and figured out, okay, right now, this is what we're doing. I may make a little bit more money than he does, or, and I can afford to swing a little bit, maybe because the Edison bill right now is high in the summertime because we've been running the AC. I'll put a little bit extra on that because I know you're paying child support or something. You know what I mean? I think good communication with your mate or your husband or boyfriend can dictate whether or not who pays what.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys just sit down and make a budget.
Make a budget. Mona?
So if he's your roommate, do you have to tell him, and he's not your man, because he's not paying 100%, do you have to tell him where you're going? Because I don't tell my roommate where I'm going all the time. And when I had a roommate, I didn't tell them where I'm going.
That's a good question.
So based on what they pay, that
determines
just changed the whole dynamics, basically.
So I was listening to Clubhouse, and this young lady said that women are getting the bag, and they can do bad all by themselves. What do you think about that comment?
I hate that comment. I really hate it because to me it's coming from a place of survival and trauma. A lot of women were told that narrative. They were taught that narrative. And so they think that it's okay to say something like that. I could do bad by myself. I don't need nobody else because I'm fine. I'm strong. I got. And it's like, no, you're speaking from a place of hurt, and I get it. Why would you want to do it by yourself? Why would you want to be by yourself? Like, I get if you're working on healing. I get if you're working on self-care. I get if you're trying to build up your self-love. I get that. But if your ultimate goal is to be in a relationship with someone, don't throw out that phrase, I could do bad by myself. Don't. That's my thought on that.
Yeah, I just think I can do bad all by myself. Like you said, that's it's like a jab, it's a dig, and I don't particularly care for it either. But when you really think about it, there's a part of our society, it to me is just pushing the man down. If you have decided this is the person that I love, I care about him, right now our finances are this. And for us to make it and be and everything goes smooth, he pays the 50 and I pay 50, and it works. And if there's a time when he gets a raise and he gets a bonus and he's able to pay more, he can pay more. I think a healthy relationship has that compromise where we work together and we figure it out. Whether I make more, he makes more. That's to me a healthy relationship. It's not your roommate, it's your man, and you're gonna make you're gonna make things work. Regardless, you know what I mean? You're not going to put so much emphasis on his income.
When I hear I can do bad all by myself, or I can be miserable all by myself, you need to be careful about the words that come out of your mouth. Because if he's paying 50-50, aren't you saving 50%? So, and then there's the women that cheer them on. Yeah, girl, that's it. We can do bad by ourselves. Nobody can live anywhere for free. And like the both of you said, we're in a inflated society. Hell, me and my best friend went to the supermarket last night. A box of Frosted Flakes was $8.99.
I know. It's crazy.
A gallon of milk was $20. No, a gallon of milk was $8.99 and $8.99. So the combined, it was $20.
Yeah.
For cereal and milk.
Cereal and milk.
Yeah.
So you're kind of stupid when you say I could do bad all by myself and somebody is willing to pay 50%. That 50% that you're not spending, you could be saving. Come on now. Then I heard this young lady, I'm sorry, Neisha, I'm trying to take over your topic. I heard this lady say that men should have 3 streams of income. What do you think about that?
I think
If they can't pay 50-50, then they should have 3 streams of income so that they can pay 100%.
the whole bill. See, if he has multiple streams of income, would it help the household? Sure. But if he's going to do that, you have to keep in mind he's never going to be home.
Gone.
He's always going to be gone just to make sure that the house is provided for. And if that's the type of man you want, go ahead. But realistically, in the real world, that's more than likely not going to happen. You're lucky if he has one stream. You're lucky if he has two. Most people right now, as COVID has taught us, didn't have multiple streams of income. They only had one. And when everything shut down, they was hungry just like the rest of us. You still see people that are hungry right now. So, yeah, I don't know about that one.
And to add to that, even the stars, even the people that made hundreds of thousands of dollars, multimillionaires, wealthy people.
Right.
They were starving.
They were hungry too.
They were hungry too. They was jumping on YouTube. They was trying to create another stream of income. So be careful what you say.
But here's my thing. I got mad respect for a man that can see that we are struggling in an area and he takes on another job, a little side hustle or whatever. I think that's a good thing. Yeah, he might be gone, but that situation may just be temporary till we get back on our feet, till we get out of this pandemic or we get out of the hole. I always am like, wow, if a man can just, you know what, he has his regular 9 to 5 in the evening, he gonna do a little security job just because right now we having a rough time. You know what I mean? You lost your job, honey. I'm gonna have to take on this. So I think just a healthy relationship stems from being able to give and take and do a little extra every now and then.
Okay, and I can respect a man that wants to have multiple streams of income. But here's the thing. Your average woman who has a man that has multiple streams of income, and like Neisha said, they're going to be gone. Then she's going to feel neglected.
Yep. And be
you don't have no time for me. We don't do anything. Now he can't concentrate on his home. There's no relationship. He can't enjoy the fruits of his labor because he has multiple streams of income because he's trying to cover all this materialistic bullshit that you want. And guess what happens? Then he goes out into the world and he's outside all the time. And Adrianne says, you look nice today.
Yep.
Anisha says, I cooked a dinner last night. Would you like a meal? And then Mona says, nice shirt. You smell good today. And that opens the door for what?
Infidelity.
Because on this side, he getting all the praise and affirmations from women he doesn't know. And on this side, he's getting the nagging, bitching, and moaning.
Right.
And that opens doors. So you have to be very, very careful about what you want, because what you want, you might get. And when you get it, you might not like it.
So if we going through a hard period, I'm just asking, do we tell your wife, you know what, hey, we're having a rough time. I need you to go and apply for them, that Cal Fresh, them food stamps, to help us? Or do you respect a man better that he goes out? I think it's all on a level of maturity. I think I can handle my man going out if he's bringing home, he wants to make up for this loss that we have. I think it's all the way in which you look at it. Yes, there's going to be that thought maybe that comes in your head.
Yeah, because I'm about to get you.
Yeah,
remember that broadcast we did? You said you want your man home at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
Well, at least that's where we talk about communication. You call me, baby. Look, I'm going over here to the other job.
You gonna be like,
right? No,
what's the address?
When it comes to
coming
money,
up there.
when it comes to
I'm
money,
right here in
it's
the
a little
parking lot. I don't
different.
see you.
It's a little different when it comes to money.
I'm just
I'm gonna have to have you bring that. We got to see the check, the hours. But I see what you mean. I can see where it could be a problem. But I think I could deal with it if it's temporary till we get back on our feet, so things are a little bit better. And I think it's a beautiful thing that a man would even consider that.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Before you say that. Was you gonna add to it, or you was gonna move on?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so here's my question.
Okay.
So you and your man, you live together. I'm not condoning. I'm not promoting shacking, but that's what they do. You go through a rough patch. He can pay 100%. But right now you guys live in the suburbs. He can pay 100% in the ghetto. Would you say that most women would say, okay, let's go to the ghetto?
No.
Why not?
Why would I want to move into Chirac? Or why would I want to move
struggling.
into a war zone?
You're struggling.
No.
All ghettos are not Chirac.
True.
I'm saying you have a certain lifestyle. You're up here.
Okay.
And things are getting tough. We got to downsize. Okay, maybe I won't use the ghetto. We got to go to a different area. Do you think that most women would say, okay, let's do that? You talk about getting back up on your feet. You're talking about all these things. Instead of him having to work his ass off, let's downsize for a minute.
She could do something too.
Right.
Okay, she can do something too.
Yeah.
But what if they're still not making it? We got to downsize. Do you think that average black woman is going to say downsize?
No.
Most probably would say no.
Why not?
That
with
pride
that
and
going
ego
backwards.
is going to say, I'm not trying to go backwards. I'm not trying to go to an area
I'm not trying
that's
to live with your
different from
mama.
what we've been living.
So fake it till you make it.
Yep. Unfortunately, that's what
I don't think it's necessarily faking it. I think it's
It is
you work
faking
your
it.
ass off until we get out of this rough spot.
But we in a rough spot.
Me too. Me
We-
too. Though
we-
I could get on. I can do online sometimes.
Okay, but it's going to take a minute for you to get there. We about to get evicted.
Ooh.
We don't have any freaking money. We got to go in 30 days.
Where are we going?
We got to go somewhere. We got to downsize.
Well,
This is where you always have to have a cushion.
Okay,
We
but
don't
most
have
people,
a cushion.
But most people don't have a cushion.
We don't
that's
have
what
a
that's what
cushion.
COVID has shown us. Most people, both wealthy and low class or middle class or poor class, we didn't have the cushion.
weren't prepared.
Depending on their lifestyle.
Yeah, like
Yes.
we was all one check away. Like soon as they said shut down, if you didn't, that was
Man.
it.
True.
That was it.
True.
You know what I mean? So I agree. We should have, a cushion. We should, but a lot of times we don't. Some of us rely on our credit cards
True.
to
That's
sustain.
true.
You know what I mean? So
I think a lot of people, though, especially during the pandemic, which you used as an example, they were very resourceful. They came up with stuff like
Yes.
they baked or they babysat or
Yes.
they did little things to help. And that is where when things start getting rough, you start coming up with ideas or something that, you get online. Everything is at your fingertips now, especially because we couldn't go out. There's so many work from home type jobs that you can do now. So I don't think if it got to where we had to move and relocate and all that, I'm gonna be looking at him sideways because I'm thinking the two of us together, we can figure this shit out. We can figure something
Okay,
out.
that sounds good, Adrianne.
Yeah.
However, we about to get evicted. What we going to do? Here's my question.
well, what
Are
would
we-
you do?
Yeah.
What would
We
you do?
downsizing.
Okay.
We going to the hood. We going wherever we got to do. Here's my question. Are we saying no, we won't do it because of why? Because our friends is going to say, oh, girl, do you know they was living over there in Bel Air and now they living in Inglewood? Is that why we do it?
No.
Is that why we
No.
fake? No, you lying. That's why we do it. Because we don't want Neisha to be like, oh, girl, Adrianne, Mama used to be over there and now she over here. That's why we do it. We want other people to validate our lives so much more than we want to validate our lives together.
Right.
I don't give a damn what we got to do. Nothing is permanent for me.
True.
Nothing.
True. Yeah.
I'm not going to fake it till I make it. I'm not going to be over here skinning and green and kikiing and ha-ha, and I can't pay my bills. We eat noodles every night. Let's go. We can get it. We can't get it back. If we some hustlers,
See, that's
we
what
can
I'm
get
saying.
it back.
If we
So
hustling,
it's no
we ain't
problem.
gotta move.
No, but I say we got to go now. We got to go. The hustle ain't working. Sometimes it take a long time for a hustle to come together.
I mean,
What
that's-
we hustling ass? Because we can get that tomorrow. But I'm saying,
Yeah.
but I'm saying, and women might can get it a little quicker than men
Yes.
can. But I'm saying in reality,
Right.
that sound good. But we about
But
to,
aren't there
we
some
about to
other
get
areas we
evicted.
can?
See, but I mean, before you get to that eviction status, you already know where you at. You already the signs are already showing up. So if you're falling behind on the rent, because it takes a minute to finally get to that place of you're now evicted.
Exactly.
So if you're already seeing those signs, you already know that the budget isn't working. You already know that the finances is off because either A, you lost your job, B, you had to take a pay cut, C, she's not working, whatever. I feel like you still have a little bit of time to correct it. And if you know you do have to move, which I'm cool with moving if you know that you can find a place that's going to be more financially sustainable for the both of you.
Right.
I'm cool with that. My only gripe for me, I'm not going to speak for every average woman, but for me is I'm not moving to an area where I don't feel safe. I don't care how cheap it is. I'm not. If that means I got to go back home to my parents while you get back on your feet, that's cool too. If that means you got to go back to your parents and I got to go somewhere else while we get on our feet and come together, that's cool too. But I'm not going in an area where I don't feel safe, especially if we've been living in an area where I didn't have to have that kind of a worry on my mind. For me. That's my answer.
I think it's too much stuff we can liquidate. We could sell. Get
See,
rid
that's
of.
what I'm saying. Let's come up with some
if
solutions.
We was doing
I
good,
borrow from my
you got them
401k.
Sea-Doos out there.
Yeah.
Let's sell one of these cars. Let's do something just until we can be in a better
Get back
place.
in that.
Yeah, because
yeah.
I think we start going backwards. And you're right. There is a part of us that don't want to be embarrassed, or we don't want people to know that we're struggling. I get that, and you know, you don't want to go to extremes on doing stuff where people gonna be all up in your business. I get it, but I think it's so many things, like you said, eviction, especially in the line of work I do. I see the eviction process is long.
It's a time, yes. It's
long
not like
process.
1 week or 1 month.
Some people have taken a year, 6 months,
to
to
a
year.
year before they even get to that point.
And if you can't figure some shit out between then and there, I mean, we gotta reevaluate our hustle.
You can get a job and get paid in within a week or two.
Yeah.
So it depending on where you go. But
Start
I mean,
that
and
lawnmower up, start cutting some grasses,
wash
or
your
something.
cars,
You
do what you got to do, cook some food, do what you got to do. But
In a perfect world, that sounds good. I like that you said we could start liquidating some things.
Yeah.
That you start brainstorming and putting
Right.
your mind together and doing things.
Yard
but-
sales.
Yeah. Okay, so I got one more question and I'm gonna shut my mouth. So it's been said that if a man can only pay 50-50, that is not a traditional relationship, that is a modern relationship. What's your thoughts on that? Yes or no?
I can agree with that.
What are you agreeing on?
That does fall on the modern quote unquote scale. That modern is making the spouse pay half. Traditional, the man pays for everything. So in the modern terminology, if you have to pay 50, if you're going 50-50, then it's no longer considered traditional. It's considered modern.
You know, I never really gave it a whole lot of thought, only because, you know, I lived in a household with a mama and a daddy, and my daddy's check went into the account. I saw my mama write all the checks and everything, but I think her money went in too. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's modern or tradition. I think they would come from a tradition, but a traditional time. But yeah, her money went in too. So I don't think it's...
Okay, so are
Don't
we
we all?
saying that all traditional relationships, all traditional marriages, the men made more than the women?
Well, back in
there was a
the time, traditional, yes.
There was a time.
No, it's they did, all mothers and fathers did not make more. Their husbands did make less than the wives. There are
The husbands have?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a time. Let me finish. The men couldn't even read, and their women would sign those contracts, and those women would do things. We are not the freaking Huxtables in the black society.
Right.
Our parents were. I don't want to use that word because we're going to do another broadcast about that. But most of our parents were blue collar workers.
Yeah.
And it was hard for black men to get jobs back then, just like the unemployment rate for black men right now is the lowest of all ethnic races. And there were often times where women got better jobs than men and they made more money. But they didn't look at it in that manner. They looked at it as being a team. So my definition is of modern relationship, if a man has to pay 50-50, that you should not be living together. He should be over here paying his 50 and you should be over here paying your 50. Because like I said, I'm not promoting shacking, but you do it anyway. If you're shacking, you are practicing a tradition. If you're shacking, you are acting, and you're acting in a manner where the man wants his girl to act like his wife, and the woman wants his man to act like her husband. So you are practicing or playing with a tradition.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I just say that I'll use my parents as a point of reference. My dad worked, so did my mom. My dad had been working ever since he was 16. at his job. And I mean, he retired when he was in his 30s. But when my mom worked, she did not make more than my dad. Yeah, they both contributed to an account, but my dad paid all the bills. Her money was fun money, as he calls it. To me, I don't see that as 50-50. I don't see that it was like she paid 50% of the bills and he paid 50. He paid for everything, and her money was just like just in case or just for fun or if you want to go, you know, save. It was never like that. So most of the men and women I know that are married from yesteryear, the men made more money than the women. They didn't have time to complain about how unfair the man had his foot on their neck. They made shit happen. They didn't make excuses. I'm not saying that's what the men of today do, but what I will say is if we're going off of the quote unquote today's terminology of traditional versus modern, most traditionalists will tell you that if the woman is making more than said man, if she's going out there working, hustling, doing what she has to do, and then coming home to the kids and doing all that other stuff, they don't consider that traditional because they expect traditional women, quote unquote, to be housewives, to be at home. They consider them to be the ones that's at home with the children, cooking, cleaning, raising the kids, doing what they have to do from home while the man goes out and make the money and brings the money home. So if we're not doing that, then it falls under that quote unquote modern scale. That's what they're saying. So there's that.
I think too that when a woman did stay at home, she wasn't as materialistic as these new generations were. They didn't want the Birkins, they didn't want the red bottoms or whatever was designer. Back then they were more honed in to being homemakers, creating a happy environment for the man that did pay 100% and went out there and busted his ass. He did have a hot meal when he came home. He could get his bath water ran. She could quiet the children and make sure everything was done. And these women who call themselves modern, they want to sit at home, be online, shop, dress, party, bullshit, and what you mean? Dinner. You got two hands. So we have to be careful about how we want to identify something or how we want to play these roles because most women do not even want the role of a wife. They want the ring. They want the wedding. They want him to pay 100%. I saw this video the other day, and this guy took this young lady to the Mercedes dealership. And he purchased, he showed her I think it was dark blue, 2019 Mercedes-Benz. She said, I don't want that. He said, oh, this is nice. You know, this is sharp. You know, I'm going to put you in this. So he was trying to talk to the salesman. He was like, man, tell her this is a nice car. She was like, nah, I don't want this. He was like, well, what do you want? I'm about to drop $35,000 cash on this car. She was like, I want a 2022. He was like, nah, I'm not getting you a 2022. You going to get this. He was like, you don't even have a car. And she was like, but I don't want it. He said, well, bounce. And she bounced.
Behind the car.
That is entitlement. And that's what men are going through these days when they are trying to build something, when they are trying to put something together. We don't understand greater later. We don't understand compromise. We don't understand teamwork. We just want what we want, how we want it. And if we can't get it, then we're going to be do bad by ourselves, which is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think at the end of the day, we need to be team players with our with our husbands or however you want to call them. We should be team players. We should sit down. We should decide what is going to be important things for us to do. Put them in the order of priority, and we take care of it. If that means you're able to pay everything, fine. If not, and I have to put in my part, I will. I think at the end of the day, the traditional values have gone in relationships these days. And I guess because I have always mimicked my wanting a relationship to be much like my mother and father's was very traditional. My father came home from working, hard work, and she'd help him take his boots off. I love that kind of stuff. I think nurturing and catering to your man is a good thing. And it comes to finances too. If we run it short, baby, look, I got you. If I haven't had to pay anything, at least I'm making a savings. That cushion is there for us in the event that we need it. And I think that's what's lacking today. That some of those old values are gone. And like you said, people are wanting more materialistic stuff, and I'm content with just let's make it. The both of us gonna win in the end. So I don't know.
Here's my question: What happens when you don't have your 50%, and he put you out? I've never, and I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. I've never heard a man say he put his woman out because she didn't have no money or she couldn't pay nothing. I've never heard that. And like I say, it does happen. But how are you loving somebody basing it on how much a percentage of this and down to the penny? If he doesn't pay, then he got to go. Oh, I'm going to go somewhere else. And the young lady was like, somebody will give me a 2022. And the dude was like, who? She was like, one of these basketball players. Heifer. They're not even checking for you. I thought that was very disrespectful.
Very, very.
So, yeah, I don't have nothing.
Final thoughts?
I just say, I think we've gotten so far away from really what relationships need to be based on. And when you base it all on 50-50 or 100%, I think at the end of the day, a healthy relationship is based on good communication and including with the finances. We need to sit down and talk about it, make a budget, do these things, and where I can kick in, I can kick in. Where you need to kick in, you need to kick in. If it means like a year, you got to go to school for a little bit while I cover everything, I got you, and vice versa. So that to me is a healthy relationship. Give and take, and we work it out.
Cool. Mona?
I'm going to say this. Ladies, be very careful how you speak to your man if he makes less than you. If he only could afford to pay 50-50. Be very careful about how you treat your man when he's in that predicament. Because if one day the tables are turned and he starts making more than you, he's going to remember how shitty you treated him. He's going to remember how bad you talked about him. Told him he wasn't shit. He was a broke-ass nigga. He can't afford to pay nothing. And I want you to be able to take it the same way you dish it out. That's my final thought.
I would say that just because a person pays 50-50, it doesn't make them less than a human being. We should treat each other fairly. I'm not into that traditional versus modern narrative. I'm not into it because if I was, I feel like I fall right in the middle because I'm used to working. I'm not used to being home. I'm used to being out. I'm used to contributing. I'm not used to allowing someone to have to slave basically to take care of everything because then they tired, I do agree that we shouldn't put anyone down. We should treat each other how we want to be treated. And it doesn't make a person a dusty because they, you have to go 50-50. I think that we have to start realizing that we can't live our lives like the celebrities do. You got celebrities and influencers telling you that this is what you should be expecting of men, but they don't even live that themselves, We got people telling us that this is how we should move if we want to get a man, but we know that most men in our community don't even, they're not even on that kind of a level. Most of us come from, as Mona pointed out earlier, blue-collar levels, right? We're lucky if we meet somebody on a white-collar level. We're lucky if we meet someone who's a multimillionaire, right? So that ideology, I would say, you got to kind of let it go and just be real. Be real. Be real about your situation. If you know that you can't even handle your shit by yourself, and also, we got to stop with that survival mindset of I could do bad by myself. That's not something to brag about. That's not something to encourage. That's not something that we should be pushing down, towards the next generation because it's not a plus. It's not a positive mindset. It's actually negative. And this is the end of our show.
No, I just got to add one more thing.
I knew it. Go ahead.
And I probably lost my train of thought. And I did. Oh, my God. Oh, listen. we're operating in two different worlds. There's a group of us that are operating in reality, in the real world, in the free world, and then there's a group of us that are internet, virtual people operating on the internet. Be careful that you don't let the internet mess you up where you don't get a man. Mm-hmm. There is a lot of miserable, lonely, traumatized. I ain't got over my last relationship. I hate all men because of what he did to me in the 3rd grade. I hate all women because of what she did to me in the 9th grade, that are spewing out this dialogue that when you really sit back and think about it and you following it, it don't even make sense. Mm-hmm. It's going to cause you not to have no man. If you listen to all this BS on the internet, you might die alone. And that goes for men and women. You might die with a cat or a dog. That goes for both men and women. Be careful what you listen to. Be careful too about what you say and how you present yourself to both men and women, because people can see your aura and they can feel, the negativity on you, and you're going to lose being on this internet. I'm done.
BGP, we're out. Bye.